Cocaine Bear. Jesse, you saw this just this morning.
I did.
So it's fresh in your mind.
I'm committed to the
pod. Let us know. Like, what did you think of Cocaine Bear?
I thought it was decent. I thought it was fun. It was just a fun movie. Way more violent than I was expecting it to be. It's so, and I read the actual real life story on this. So it's some drug lord or whatever was flying a shipment of cocaine over, and something happened with the plane, and so he had to jettison all this cocaine out, and then a bear finds the cocaine, ingests it, and in this movie, it's almost like a horror movie. The bear starts killing off characters one by one, very violently. But then it's like sprinkled with all these comedic moments. So you just sit in there and enjoy the ride. You know, it is a bit ridiculous, but it was, I don't know, I thought it was a lot of fun, and it was great to see Ray Liotta. I think it was his last film role. He only had a small role, but I thought he was great, and I thought the actors did well too. I just felt like, to me, it's just one of those movies you're just like, okay, this is just happening. I'm just gonna sit down and enjoy it, and, throw some popcorn in my face, and yeah.
Yeah, I think for me, it's my biggest takeaway is my biggest takeaway was that Elizabeth Banks understood the assignment. She knew the movie's called Cocaine Bear, embraced the fact that it's a movie about a bear on cocaine. My biggest fear going into it was what happens if this movie takes itself too seriously.
Yes.
And for the first 20 minutes or so, the part of me was like, ooh, are they going to take it too seriously? Because they spend a lot of time working on the characters. They build them up. They find a situation where they would all be in the forest together, which I think is smart, because it makes you, it's like, why don't they just get out of the forest,
I kind of felt like as soon as the killing started happening, like the bear started killing people, is when it just went the full mile, just went ridiculous.
Yeah.
You just went along with it. So
yeah, like the movie doesn't really start until the killing starts, and that's when the jokes start picking up. That's when everything else does. Like, they're not always trying to what's smart about the writing is the characters aren't usually trying to be funny. The humor is coming out of the situations of them being with the bear, and the bear's kind of like a cartoon character, the way it interacts with cocaine and stuff.
I did think the bear was a bit, the CG of the bear was a bit, I don't know, maybe it just added to this, it accentuated the ridiculousness of it, but the bear looked a bit cartoony. It didn't look very realistic, especially its facial expressions and stuff like that. So,
but yeah, I think that's they're going for. Like, they didn't want an overly realistic bear. It's not meant to be what would it actually be like if a bear went on cocaine and started killing people. They're more going for, like, how funny would it be if the bear was addicted and it would do anything for the cocaine, and it had, what kind of silly situations would it get up to, and like they literally go full Yogi Bear at some points, where the way he's interacting and looking at it. It is very cartoony at times, but that's kind of what makes it so good. The character comes from the humor. So the humor comes from the character of this drug addicted bear, who will kill anyone that comes between it and its cocaine. And the humor from the characters, because they are playing so believably, like, they're not trying to be silly. Like, they're not doing slapstick and falling over most of the time. They are just reacting to the insaneness of, oh my God, it's a bear on cocaine. There are some other jokes sprinkled throughout, which isn't directly from that, but that's the main source of comedy from the film. And I think that's smart, because what I think I'm starting to realize is, when a lot of people complain about, like, Marvel fatigue, what they're really getting at is these quickie whippersnapper joke guys who are like, serious moment, undercut it with a joke here and there. But so those don't feel realistic, and it's hard to connect.
I know. I have Marvel fatigue, full stop.
Yeah,
even the action.
Yeah, fair enough. But I think that's where a lot of the complaints are coming from. But when comedy's done more organically and authentically like this, that's when I think it works the best. I said the same thing about Black Panther: Wakanda Forever, where a lot of the jokes in that film, it's like the characters joking to each other rather than just unnaturally making a joke for no reason. And that's probably my favorite thing about. Well, that's one of the strengths I think of this film art. But yeah,
How does it compare? I have to ask you, how does it compare to things like Sharknado?
I would say it's as ridiculous as Sharknado, but it's still pretty. It gets pretty ridiculous.
Okay.
It's probably, I'd say it's mildly more serious than Sharknado. It takes it slightly more seriously.
I think there's definitely a lot more sophistication and professionalism and wit. Like when you so when Cocaine Bear was announced as how popular it was, competitors came out. Like the Asylum, who makes Sharknado, announced Meth Gator, and another company has just announced Cocaine Shark, from what I can see. And Cocaine Shark, they announced a couple, like I think last week, and it's said it's going to be released to DVD early July. So those films, you can tell they're rush fucking shit out of script in a day, film with like unknown actors, rush it. Who cares about the quality? The name of the film will sell. This film, there is time and care put into the editing, the writing. I don't think it's fair to compare it to a movie like Sharknado because they are both. The one thing they have in common is let's have a crazy name for a film and not take it too seriously. But the difference is not the budget. I would say the difference is the quality of filmmaking. Like,
Cocaine Bear's much better quality. Yeah,
if you were to watch Sharknado, like, I don't know anyone who's watched from start to finish because it's so boring and slow and bad. And that's in addition to the shitty CGI.
I couldn't do it to myself.
Yeah, like those are just bad movies with silly titles. This is a well-made, good horror comedy. And I would say horror comedy because I think the
because it was almost like there was scenes with the bear. It almost felt like a Jurassic Park kind of the way the camera was shot with the bear's nose hanging over some of the characters and like it kind of reminded me of Jurassic Park, like the raptors or the T-Rex. You know,
there's a conscious effort to build suspense. There's a conscious effort to build suspense and horror-esque moments. I wouldn't call it a scary film.
No.
But like they definitely
very gory though. I was actually surprised at how gory it was.
And that was I'm glad you brought that up because that's probably my other favorite thing about the film. I love a good gory kill. This movie is not shy of doing it. And in fact, some of the kills are so over the top. That's what gets a laugh out of you is how intense and insane this kill was. So yeah, I really loved it. I enjoyed Cocaine Bear. Understood the assignment. 1 billion out of 10. It's not going to win the Oscars, but it's
it was the best movie that a movie called Cocaine Bear could be.
Yes, I agree. Yeah, it's a really good example of a good popcorn film. I think.
Yeah,
it ticks all the boxes you want for a popcorn film, more so than even some like I know Fast and Furious or whatever Marvel films are, whatever. Where you want good quality filmmaking, but also you want to laugh and you want to see some things that will shock and surprise you. So, really good film.
Also say it says it's based on true events, but it takes huge liberties because I read up the actual event. There was a bear that ingested the cocaine. It was only 175 pounds, which to put that in perspective, that's probably weighs slightly less than me. And they found it dead and it didn't kill anyone. So it's taking huge liberties. But yeah, it was just like a fun ride.
Cool.